This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character. You have been warned. You have been warned. You have been warned.
All right, I'm not doing it. That was fucking close.
That was pretty good, dude. Yeah. Wow. All right.
So fucking eat that one, Gene. You cunt.
You cunt. Oh,
I'm coming out swinging this fucking episode,
dude. That got me hyped. I was right before we went on air. I was telling Curtis I'm in a brain fog right now, but I think that fog moved out from that. So yeah, episode 10, fucking hyped. I can't believe we made it this far so consistently, honestly.
It's kind of baffling.
Give ourselves a round of applause, actually, because
my shits aren't this consistent.
Yeah, definitely not. Loki's stoked too.
He's on fire too. He loves episode 10 already because he's heard the pre-gaming and he's all in.
Yeah. Did he get any new followers lately because of people knowing about him?
That is a good question. I haven't checked.
Yeah.
I'm usually not the keeper of that.
Gotcha.
That what do you want to say? That Instagram.
Yeah, so Loki the Supreme, if anybody wants to follow Curtis's dog's Instagram and his adventures, it's pretty fun. He's kind of a spoiled dickhead. The more I follow him on Instagram is what I figured out.
Is. He's a fucking prima donna. He is. The fucking world revolves around him.
Yeah, obviously.
And that bitch ass high bark you hear is when he's not getting his way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking painful.
No, I've heard it in person. But he is pretty cute, so he deserves it, I guess.
For those of you who ever had the fucking brain fart to get a palm ski, there are very different levels of a palm ski. We were supposed to get this midget ass dog, and I basically got a husky that humped the fucking Pomeranian and I guess missed or something. But he's all husky except for like three just the snout's a little off, and that's about it. It's crazy. Yeah. And of course somebody was like schooling us one day. I'm like, well, who the fuck does all that research? Wasn't my fucking idea anyway. He's awesome.
We used to have we had to endure those conversations at the dog park years ago. Like when we would take Jack to the dog park, there'd always be some fucking know-it-all there that like, is that a French bulldog? We'd be like, yes, it's French bulldog. Are you sure about that? Like,
oh my God.
Like, fuck off. Like, yes, we're sure about that.
What was funny is this dog walked by. Amanda and I were at we're waiting to get on for a birthday party. Like we were getting on a boat to go somewhere just around the harbor. And this couple walked by and Amanda's like, I think that's what he's supposed to look like. And it was this little fucking, it looked like a Pomeranian that fucked a husky and he got his colors. Like he was marked like a husky, but he is a little Pomeranian. And I was like, fuck. And then of course that was the person who was like, well, you have a level blah. And it's like, there's multi-levels and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Jesus, fuck.
Wow. Yeah, dude. It's like, you know what? That basically, that's the equivalent of like dickheads who like talk about wine. Like that shit's so annoying. We've been to some like parties and like wine tasting things over the years, like whatever, like some friend is doing something and we get invited, and like those things are always fun, but it's like just show up and like just let me drink some wine. Like I don't give a fuck about what it like. If it tastes good, cool. But then you have like the people that want to try to like talk to you about that shit, and I'm just like, dude, like I don't fucking like cool. I'm glad you have an interest you're so passionate about, but like literally just shut the fuck up and get drunk.
Is that bourbon snobs too?
What is that?
A bourbon snob.
Oh, I guess
Lord.
like, I guess it can apply to any of that shit. Just like people in general who get off on like schooling people not in the know on something they're an expert about. Like that shit's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
I mean, that could even apply to fucking religion, I guess, like craft beer. Just like anybody who's a fucking douche and wants to tell you how much they know about something. Like I fucking hate that kind of person so much. It's one thing if I ask them, like, could you please inform me more about everything you know about? But it's like, if I didn't ask and you tell me anyway, like you're a fucking dickhead.
Like, I don't mind even if it's like a comment, but not a schooling. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, he's like, if somebody was like, that tastes that way because of this, and walks away from it, that's cool. But it's like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, just like the person who's just waiting for that opportunity to just like spew all over you with like all the shit they know. Yeah, fuck that.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that shit's annoying. So one thing, I don't know if you saw or not, it was kind of weird because I sort of had to sort of post something just based on being like wrapped up in the reveal of this, but I was kind of hoping to like save it for here, but so I'm sure there's some people that know, but I couldn't believe this, but I ended up winning that fucking guitar contest. Did you see that I posted about that?
Where'd you post that at? On the Instas or?
Well, so I put it on my stories.
I don't fucking understand that. I'm old.
Yeah, well, dude, yeah, me too.
I don't fucking get it.
I mean, I don't usually look at stories at all. I'm still probably why I don't utilize Instagram to the fullest potential it has, but they stopped with like how the feed works, where it used to be when Instagram was owned by Instagram is when Instagram was cool. It's like everybody you followed, anytime they post something, it just came in chronologically in your feed and you saw everything. And now you're like lucky if you see if I follow like 200 some people. I'm seriously lucky if I see like 2 pictures from those 200 people in any given day. And the rest is just like people I don't follow and ads and shit. So stories is basically a way to kind of have Instagram work like it used to a little bit, where if you would post like 5 stories in a day, I could watch your story and actually see all 5 things you posted. So it's almost like the feed side of Instagram is kind of dead unless you're someone who has a shit ton of followers and gets algorithmed up to like the top of everybody's stuff.
So when you post in your story though, I don't think it goes when you post in your story, it doesn't go into your feed, I don't think.
No, it doesn't.
Why the fuck is that? That's stupid.
So my understanding is that if you post a story, it doesn't go to your feed, but it goes into like an archive, and then that's how you can create highlights. So there's like the highlight reel on your Instagram, which is essentially you can take stories that you've posted and make them stay permanently in a highlights. This is actually something I'm working to try to start doing on my Instagram. Is I have like a bunch of live footage of shows I've played. So I want to like kind of create like a highlight of like little 15-second clips of places I've played. So it's like a live highlight. So you could like click on that.
All right. So I'm going to take a 2-second timeout.
Yeah.
Instagram, you fucks. I don't want you accessing my camera nor my fucking microphone. You listening to me already. Quit asking for permission because you do it the fuck already. So what's it fucking matter? Anyway, back to the story.
No, that's fine. Yeah. Dude, I tell you, man, there's so many times when I did like a big purging of my Instagram yesterday because I just was like, there's shit that I put on there that I just I was like, I don't know, it was like clogged, like it made my feed look messy or something. And like I was trying to like get it more like consistent looking. So I deleted like
Are you branding yourself?
Not even branding. I just honestly, I think it was just kind of like I go through these phases where I teeter on the edge of like almost completely quitting social media altogether. And then I like do these like little baby steps of like, maybe if I like clean some shit up, it'll like change how I feel about when I look at it or something. So I did that yesterday. But yeah, it's such a catch-22. Like, I fucking hate social media, but I also realize that a lot of people don't hate it. And like doing the types of things that we do, you kind of like have to have one if you want to have any kind of engagement with what you're doing at all. But I deep down fucking hate it. I liked Instagram when it first started. I actually really liked Instagram when it worked the old way. Once they changed it to how it works now, that's when I lost interest in it, because like I don't have the time to like go through and manually go through all the accounts I follow to see what those people are up to. So it's like, I just, if someone is following me and like I don't like your pictures anymore and I used to, like, I'm sorry, but your shit just doesn't show up for me. So
have you noticed this? So I get my feed and they populate with other things I might like.
Yeah.
On they're about 50-50.
Yeah. Sometimes I find something cool, but most of the time
I yell at
not.
it like, I don't like fucking Iron Maiden. Please quit putting this shit in my feed. Like you can ask Dammy Doodle. I fucking scream at my phone. I'm like, I don't like these motherfuckers. Please stop.
Yeah.
But I have a certain I follow like this old sign painting guy, or it's just like a sign painting Instagram account. And when I see that, I know that I'm 2 steps away from catching up.
Oh, I see.
Like, it is a marker to me that I know that my feed's almost like I've caught up on all the random shit because I've seen this sign feed. It's just it's weird.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That kind of happens to me too, but it doesn't seem as consistent. Like I don't know. It's weird. I hate the feed now, but so then with reels, so reels are kind of the things I've been getting into lately, because basically TikTok is just pretty much butt fucked Instagram as far as like how like much that has caught on. My opinion is, if Instagram never would have changed how the feed worked, they would have stayed competitive with TikTok. And I don't use TikTok. I have a lot of friends who are on there who have various business ventures and stuff. And they're like, dude, with all the music stuff you do, like, you need to quit Instagram immediately and do what you're doing on TikTok, because you're going to have like 100,000 followers in like a month doing what you do. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I want to get into something else, but I've kind of been dancing around about whether to do that. But so Reels is basically Instagram's attempt to try to steal back some of the market from TikTok.
So it's like Betamax?
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. So with a reel, you can post a reel just to your reels, or you can post a reel to your reels and your feed. So what I've noticed is that if I make a reel, I have, like, the first time I did a reel was like a few months back, because I just wanted to see what would happen, like doing my little like suitcase drum videos I was making. So everyone was like, do reels, you'll get more people checking them out. So the first one I made, I think the first one I did was I did that one Dead Kennedy song. And I made the video, I posted it, like first reel, and then I put my phone down. I didn't look at it the rest of the day. And I think like maybe 5 or 6 hours later, I opened my phone and looked at it, and I had like 3,000 views.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was like, what the fuck? So then I was like, okay, so that is definitely explains, like, the reels are going out in a much different way than like your feed photos would ever do. Cause like before, it was like unless you hashtagged it correctly or something, like no stranger would ever find your photo unless, only the people following you. So reels just kind of go out to anybody who may be interested in, based on the hashtag you use, I think. So anyway, reels, unless you're basically, long story short of all this is, like, on Instagram, if you're not doing reels, like, no one sees your shit.
Dude. So if you have kids that understand this shit completely, have them hit us up, because I'm stupid.
Well, and we've
And-
both talked about this. Like, neither one of us do Facebook, and that I'm so fucking glad I never got into that fucking horse shit, because that I just hear all the fucking horror stories of people I know that are on there. And I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if it's maybe being involved in computers as much as we were when all that, because we were already like a decade deep in doing computer shit when social media came out. So I think maybe our perspective was a little different than maybe people who weren't fucking
Right.
balls deep in computer work. So, you know, I had a friend, I worked with this computer programmer guy, like right when all that shit was popping off. And he was like, don't ever create a Facebook page. He's like, you'll fucking.
Oh, it's the
regret it.
devil too. And
Yeah,
now that
he's-
they
he's
fucking
like-
own Instagram.
Yeah, he's like, don't do it. And I almost never even did Instagram, but I was just like, everyone was like, this is like not as crazy as Facebook. And if you're doing like music related stuff, you like really need to have this, because this is going to like replace doing flyers and stuff eventually.
And
like,
it does, at least on
And it
where
did.
I'm looking. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it really did. I mean, it's like, you know, like whatever the 5 people that would come to see me play are probably not going to know I'm playing if I don't have like an Instagram account. So, yeah,
And here's
it
the cool
sucks.
thing with that is like, all the kids play at this spot in Baltimore.
Mhm.
And basically, if you want to go to the show, they post that it's at this place. Well, they've made a name up for it.
Yeah, is that like little weird DIY underground thing or whatever?
The Ruins.
The Ruins,
And if
yeah.
you want to go see the show, basically the day of the show, you direct message and get the fucking address.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I really like that. We actually, when I first moved to San Diego, that was, and it honestly, it may be something that still goes on. I just am not really involved in sort of that scene as much anymore. But when we first moved out here, a big thing that was going on for like a number of years was like secret loading dock generator shows.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, so it was the same kind of deal. Like we'd have somebody hit us up and be like, "Hey, we're like doing a show at this loading dock back in some industrial complex or something," and we'd ask us if we want to play, and we'd roll up, and there'd be like hundreds of kids, like in like that, like hopped a fence in this like industrial complex, and we'd like sneak gear in, like had generator shows on loading docks, because it'd be like a stage of people like stage diving off the loading dock and shit. Like and those fucking shows would fucking pop off too. They were gnarly. It was
It looks
cool.
like all the ones that the Chlamydiates play, that they look fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that whole just you're not supposed to be there vibe just gets kids like more fired up.
Yeah, fucking, it's cool for them.
Yeah.
Of course, now I'm a parent and I'm like, you're gonna get busted.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely some of those loading dock shows that we played. I mean, even back then, I mean, we're talking, that's when I first moved out here. So I was like 30, between the ages of 30 and 33 when we were doing those loading dock shows. And so in the grand scheme of things, I was still pretty young, but to be in like a hardcore band at the time, punk band, and like most of the kids there were like high school kids, it's like, whoa, like there's real potential for me to like get like arrested and it'll suck because I'm like 30 years old. Like I don't want to get arrested for playing a show, but it was still super fun though.
Oh, so I should shout out for Fred's Kids, the Moms Against Punk Rock and Negative Creep. They play those bitches all the time too.
Oh, cool.
Like I think that's like their bread and butter.
Yeah, that's fucking badass. Yeah, I was watching some of their clips of them playing there, and I was like, man, that looks fun. Those days are probably long gone for me, but they're fun. I'm glad those guys are doing that.
I'm jealous. I'm like, I'm ready to play.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
kind of bummed the whole fucking Craven Warheads thing and air traffic blew shit apart, but
it's fine. Our day will come. It'll
we
happen.
shall return.
We shall return. Yeah, but anyway, really quick, just back to I won that fucking contest, and I couldn't, like, honestly, I couldn't believe it. So he put the comp out of all the songs that got submitted. I'll link up to anybody that wants to check that out on the website. But there's like, so basically he originally was going to whittle it down to 10 songs, like the 10 best songs. And I think he had 16 total submissions, and he liked them all so much. He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to put them all out on this comp. And like every single song is actually really fucking good. And everybody had a possibility to win. I swear to God, it was like every song had its own merit that I was like, damn, that song could totally win. And there was like 2 or 3 songs that I really thought were going to be the winners that weren't my song. And so yeah, I don't know, dude. It's fucking crazy. Like he hit me up that, hey, like check your Insta or whatever. But he hit me up about the same time I saw that he had posted that I was the winner. And yeah, I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like, I think this seriously might be like the coolest thing that I've ever won ever. Because I'm like, and whatever, I'm not saying this in like a pity party way at all, but it's just kind of like a true thing. But like, I just kind of feel like my whole life, like everything I've done, it's like, I'm just always kind of a silver and bronze medal kind of guy. And like, and that's fine. Like I've accepted that and it's cool. So like, this is the first gold medal thing I've ever gotten that is like, that I've won something based on my music and was judged by people whose like musical opinions I really respect. So I don't know, like it really did. It was sort of like a validation I got that I didn't know I needed, that maybe I needed or something. So
right.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I had a bunch of people hit me up privately, like, dude, this song's amazing. Like, yeah, so it was fucking badass.
That's badass. So when the comp comes out or is out, I mean, what format, or is it just like a downloaded stream or off of like Spotify or blah, blah?
He doesn't, I can't really speak for him, but I would say based on the things I do know about him, he aligns very much with probably the conversation we just had, where he's like in our age group. And I think he just comes from more of the old school, where like he still makes zines and stuff.
That's fucking cool.
So he's sort of like he realizes that social media is a necessary tool, but I think he probably also simultaneously like hates it in a way, kind of like we were just discussing. But so to answer your question, he does have a Bandcamp where he'll put up music that's involved with his company. But no, he doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't do any like streaming stuff. Like I'm sure the Bandcamp is even more than he would really like to do. He would probably rather still like mail cassette demos to people.
That was my question. Are we looking at cassette demos and CDs?
Yeah. So right now it's on Bandcamp only, but he was saying, I guess like there's been some interest in pressing it on cassette. So, so I think
my God, how fucking things have changed. Gene's in his fucking glory now, talking about the awesomeness of cassettes and proper maintenance on those cassettes.
Yeah.
Just the fact it just everything comes full circle.
Well, yeah.
How did 8-tracks get cut out? How did the fucking 8-tracks get cut out?
Okay, well, I have a story on 8-tracks actually. But yeah, so Bandcamp right now, I'll post up the link, and then maybe cassettes in the future. But apparently I got like a box coming my way in the next couple of days with like my grand prize winning package. So I don't even know what that is. Oh. He sent me a message asking me what size t-shirt I wear. So I'm assuming I'm getting some type of t-shirt, but then there's some other grand prize thing that he mentioned. And based on what he was describing, I'm thinking that it may be some type of custom built guitar pedal.
That would be badass.
Yeah. So I think that's what one of the prizes is. So if that's the case, that's fucking cool. But yeah, so I'll go to my 8-track story in a second, but back to cassettes really quick. When I did my last record, I was trying to think, because I originally wanted to press it on vinyl, and I was like, dude, like it's just too much money. Like I can't justify pressing this on vinyl when I know I'm not going to sell enough to break even. So I looked into other options. I was like, I don't really want to make CDs again, because my first record's on CD, and I wanted to have something different. So I was like, maybe I'll just press cassettes. And I'm actually glad I did it. I ended up doing like 50 cassettes, and I've sold like a small handful of them so far, but it's just cool to have cassettes again. I don't know. They like look really cool. And I've had a few people a little bit more interested just based on the fact that I have cassettes. So I think they're kind of like a fun novelty again.
They are. Amanda's tour shirt from her Def Leppard, Motley Crue.
Yeah. Which I still can't believe you didn't go to that. You fucking blew it.
They have like the names of the bands on dub cassettes, like different looking cassettes, like you would have got like a Maxell or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
So it's actually cool. Once again, fuck you, Lars. That's how you guys got popular.
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
dubs.
Well,
Cunt.
and cassettes are so like affordable to make too. It's like I was looking at vinyl, and for me to press my record on 100 copies of vinyl was going to be like $1,800. And I think to do like 50 cassettes was like 300.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it's like a no brainer. And like cassettes are just cool. They're fun. They're like, and they're cheaper to ship. Records are expensive to ship. There's less chance of like cassettes getting damaged in the mail. Yeah, they're just lighter. They're easier to carry when you're going to shows and stuff. It's just like the logistics of cassettes versus vinyl is like, obviously I know vinyl sells better, but logistically cassettes are just kind of a better option for me right now anyway. But the 8-track I saw a few months ago, it might even been like a year ago at this point, but there's some company, and I forget, it's one of the like more specialized like bespoke record labels. I forget who it is, but they do like special edition 8-tracks of like old like releases and stuff. And there was they did Those Who Fear Tomorrow on 8-track.
Shut the fuck up, really?
Yeah. And
that's badass.
And dude, I'm telling, and they like sold out like instantly, apparently. Like I think they maybe made like 30 of them or something, and they sold out. I mean, I'm just guessing on the quantity, but it was like a really low amount. I don't think it was more than 50. I think it was more like 20 or 30. I'll have to look that up because I forget.
That shit pisses me off.
But yeah, but they sold out immediately. And dude, I was like, honestly, there's been a few times over the years where I was like, oh man, it would be like cool to have an 8-track player again. Just if you ever at a thrift shop or something and you do come up on like a cool 8-track, like
Boston.
buy it. Yeah, just
Fog
like
hat.
Just see if it works. You know, it's kind of just be like a fun gamble. But I was like, dude, if I could buy like a new copy of Those Who Fear Tomorrow on 8-track, I was like, that is way more compelling to get an 8-track player. But if they're only making that small quantities, there's like, I'm not going to buy an 8-track player and then not even get the 8-track that I want.
So this is a shit like Harley Poe or Joe Whiteford, whatever you call him. He does these models or resin cast, and he does like limited quantity.
Oh yeah, you showed me the one you have. Yeah.
So I set an alarm for yesterday, which is Friday, whatever, the 26th. So if anybody knows him, and you tell him I cried. Well, I didn't really cry. I set an alarm to remind myself to get online to buy a little fucking creature. I got on at 9, 9:30, 10, and they kept saying coming soon, coming soon, coming soon. So I actually got sucked into my job, which I should be doing. And when I checked at like 3:00, everything was gone. It's like, fuck. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. Like the fact that I set an alarm to get one is ridiculous because that's so not me, but they're so cool. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy because I'm like, there's a bunch of stuff. Everybody's doing this super rare or limited quantities. It's like, it's so fucking crazy. Well, that's like, you've got to be on top of your game.
Yeah. I've set alarms for like buying tickets. Not too much beyond that, but I mean, I can tell you, I mean, this is something we can delve more into. I know we talked about maybe doing like a toy episode eventually, but just based on my knowledge, you know, being in the toy communities and stuff, some of the dudes that make custom action figures, They make one. It's like they're dudes that buy, just like go to yard sales and shit and just buy garbage bags full of like action figure parts and stuff, and they just will make one-off figures from shit they have. They'll like cut figures up and glue them together, repaint them, make card backs for them and stuff. And like there's this one guy that he does one-off figures, and he's a graphic designer. He's like an illustrator, so he does all the card art for his cards and stuff.
Oh, that's
so it's like
cool.
Not only are you getting like a figure that he makes, and his figures are like, honestly, they're like some of the best customs out there, but then he does like custom card backs with his artwork. So it's like not only are you getting a figure he's made that's a one-off, like it's like buying a piece of art too, because his card back art is like so bitchin'. And then he has an eBay store where like he makes like a certain amount of figures a month, and he throws them up in this eBay store. And dude, it's crazy. Like some of his figures go for like $1,000. It's like this is what he does. It's like that's his job. He makes like one-off custom action figures.
That is fucking nuts.
Yeah, and they're fucking cool, and you'll never get one. Like honestly, it's like he's at the point in his career where he'll make like whatever. I'm just completely making this up. I know he has made figures like this, but like he might make like a Will Ferrell Anchorman figure. And like he's at the level where the actors will actually hit him up to buy it.
Oh fuck. Yeah, that's awesome.
So and I'm not sure if that's true of Will Ferrell for him, but I've seen like he'll actually post pictures of actors that have bought the figure he made. Like he'll be like, this guy sent me a picture of himself holding the figure and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking badass.
So yeah, and I will also say that I do have a little bit of a slight beef with that guy though too. Like I said, his shit's rad. I love his stuff. The one thing about him that is like a little obnoxious though is that he saturates the market so much that, and I'm sure he doesn't see it this way because he seems like a really cool dude, but it's like he's so prolific with how much he pumps shit out. He's taken away the ability for like smaller people to sort of be competitive at all with their custom figures. Right. Because like there'll be like some new show comes out on Netflix, and like the day it comes out, he'll have a figure made for that show. But he does it like all the time though. It's like he has this compulsion to want to always be the first person to like put a figure out for a show. And like honestly, it gets a little irritating sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's really cool and it looks good, but like maybe give like some other homie a chance to like do something too.
Right.
So that's the one thing about him that kind of bothers me. But his shit's rad and he does seem like a cool dude. But yeah, that kind of bothers me a little bit. Like just overachiever mentality. We've talked about that on a previous episode. Like overachiever attitude just is kind of fucking obnoxious sometimes.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah. So what was your reasoning for not going to the Motley Crue Def Leppard show?
Well,
I'm trying to throw you under the bus because I know she listens.
I didn't have a ticket.
Okay.
They had pre-bought it. Like this show's been postponed 2 times.
Right.
Because it was supposed to happen in the spring, then COVID hit, and then they postponed it again last year. So this year it finally fucking happened. And I was supposed to go if one of the people couldn't make it.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I am still of the mindset that I'm not spending a lot for this fucking muffler. Like, if I want to go see somebody, it's me. I'm okay if I miss my chance. Like, I'd rather have seen, give me somebody who got real popular. Boss Tones. Boss Tones, we saw in the old 930 Club. Well, they'd probably be there now.
Yeah.
But like when they hit their heyday, I could give 3 fucks of it, whether I got to see them or not.
Right.
But it's like one of those, if I miss my chance, I miss my chance. I can't see going to a show and watching the monitor because I can't see the person because they're so fucking small on the stage because I'm a mile back because even at $150, I can't get close enough to actually see the people.
Yeah, I'm in both camps nowadays. I totally understand what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with that. However, I think I'm definitely of the mindset where as I've gotten older and have gotten into different types of music, I guess I appreciate shows like that from a experience standpoint more than just like I want to see the band. It's sort of like the whole, just like I used to kind of not like to go to big shows, and now I kind of do like it more. I enjoy like maybe like watching the monitors is lame, but just like being around all the people though, and just like the experience of being there and just like maybe talking to strangers. And I don't know. I think from an experience standpoint, I like it more than just the music.
Bracket. Kurt looks very confused and sad for Jonathan and Bracket. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
It's like like I took way back when Gavin, we went to see Integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And how fucking cool is it that like, as we're standing there, the band's selling you the fucking t-shirt. If you want the shirt, you're going to buy it from somebody in the band. And, you know, all of a sudden they walk out and they're mingling and they're part of the crowd. Like that experience to me is just, that's where I would want to be. Like, I don't want to put these people up on a pedestal for some reason.
No, I like I said, everything you just said, I love that too. Like I still love going to see small shows where you get to mingle with the performer and meet people you idolize and stuff. Like I still love that too. I love both sides of concert going now, and I didn't used to. Like I've gone to see bands in the last 10 years that are bands I never ever thought I would ever go see because I like hated them or talked mad shit about them, and someone would be like, "Hey dude, I have a ticket to this show. Like it's a free ticket. Someone bailed. Like I wasn't doing anything that day. Like last minute, do you want to go?" And be like, "Sure, why the fuck not?" The old me never would have went to some of these shows, but I'm just like, it's a free fucking ticket. I can just like go hang out on the lawn and like drink a beer and cruise around and people watch and listen to some tunes. Like I'm into that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it. I think, you know, like I think we went and this is not even a huge show, but like at Merriweather, I think I've been to Merriweather twice. And the first time I went, we sat in the lawn and I was like, never fucking again. And then the second time we actually sat like in seats, but I was like, I can't, it was just, the seats were better, but it was like, fuck. I was like, I don't know. It's just, there was, the interaction to me was lost. And even though you don't have to interact with the band, but even the energy and stuff, like, I guess it does convey the same way with a bunch of people because it's kind of like a herd mentality, right? Like all of a sudden everybody's stoked. So it just brings it up to the next level. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know, are they going through the fucking motions? Like, you know how like when you see a band and they go through the motions, you're like, fuck. And it registers super quick. Like, it's just weird. I don't know what I'm rambling about at this point. It's just, I don't know, like being part of that big group and just sitting there. And it's like, I don't know. Not that I want to be spat on, but I want to be close enough that like, I don't need a monitor to see somebody to figure out what the fuck they're doing.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, and fair enough. Like I said, I mean, I realized like big shows like that aren't for everybody. But like I said, I understand where you're coming from. I totally do, because I was the same way, and I'm still that way to an extent. But I guess I've broadened my horizons to bigger experiences than what I would have had years ago. And I
haven't. It's okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just not for you. I would say that there's elements of it, of going to a concert, that you're maybe missing out on, but by not letting yourself go to shows like that more often. But I don't know, it also sounds like you wouldn't be stoked.
I don't know. It's weird. And I guess it's so, like, I already have an anxiety, like, trying to figure out what the fuck am I going to do sitting or whatever. Or am I standing? Am I sitting the whole time? Am I a douchebag if I sit? And do I have to interact with the people? I mean, it's very stressful already. Like, you go to a show and there's 200 people. That's it. You know what? And it's like, they're there and we stand, and I guess once again is that crowd thing, that it, like, the emotion and stuff kind of takes over and is exciting, like a football game. When you go see a football game in person, it's so badass versus, well, it's awesome on TV because it's far better on TV, but to be there and to have that experience is great. So I don't fucking know. I'm wrong, I guess, but it's just,
I don't think you're wrong. I think you missed the best opportunity of your life to go fucking see hot milfs in one giant place.
Oh no, dude. It was not a hot milf central. We had pictures. It was far from.
Yeah, well, maybe the Maryland version of that show is a good bit different than the California version of that show.
Imagine awkward family photos happening in real life in front of you. Like, that is it.
People of Walmart.com.
Oh my God. I'm sure there were some MILFs,
yeah,
but none of the documentation that I saw of it provided that type of information.
Gotcha. No convincing evidence of MILFs present.
No. Fuck it.
I'm assuming that show's going on out here somewhere. I don't know if it already happened or if it's happening later this summer, but we were thinking about going. So we saw Motley Crue probably like 12 years ago at this point or something in Vegas, when they were doing that residency there.
Right.
That was the first and only time I saw Motley Crue. And that show was badass. That's like, they had like the full drum roller coaster shit and like just full on pyro and like dancers, and like, I think even part of it was like a Circus Olay kind of thing going on. And like Vince Neil hadn't completely lost his voice yet. So that was cool. But
she's got some Shout at the Devil. Yeah. It's fucking funny as shit.
Okay. Well, here's what's crazy. So while we're on this topic, I was on YouTube the other day, and a video that came up for me was some clips from one of the shows, East Coast shows of that. And I was like, oh, because there was all that shit, I don't know, like a year ago or whatever, about everyone like shitting on Vince Neil about how horrible, like he's super overweight, he's out of shape, and he can't sing.
They reckoned him to Sam Kinison.
Yeah, I mean, people were shitting on him pretty hard. And anyway, so I saw some clips of them, and I was like, well, I want to see like if he listened to any of that, because I mean, it was kind of fucking lame, I guess, to like be so harsh on him. But I mean, none of it was a lie. It's like, bro, like, you're making millions of dollars a year being in this band, and you can't even like take the initiative to like be in a little bit better shape and like sing better. Like, that's, people are paying like hard-earned money to see this shit, like, and you're not being professional. So
Gavin pulled up some clip of him fucking no clue what the words were, or it's just like he pulled Kurt and just mumbled his way through it.
Yeah,
you were like, no, that's not the words. I know.
What's funny,
we get away with it because nobody knows what the fuck we're singing.
Exactly.
People know.
Well, I saw something like a year or so ago when all that was going on, and I thought it was a meme at first, but it was actually like real. It was like him like not really even saying any words and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So anyway, the clip I saw the other day, he did look like he had slimmed down a little bit. He looked like maybe he lost 10 to 15 pounds, and he definitely was singing better. It wasn't great, but it was better than the footage I heard like a year ago. So I was like, well, maybe he's at least trying. So that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I feel like that would be a fun show to go to, but there's also a lot of other shit we're going to this summer. So I don't know. It's kind of like a timing thing too, but we're debating on whether to go see Tenacious D tomorrow night or not.
Oh.
We've seen them before, but dude, they're fucking fun. That's always a good show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we're also debating. This is a tough one for me. So I've never seen any version of Pink Floyd. Like I've never seen any of the Pink Floyd dudes in any like incarnation of their band. If I had it my way, I would prefer to see David Gilmour solo doing Pink Floyd shit. I kind of think he's like done. He hasn't really shown any signs of doing any kind of touring or anything. Roger Waters' version of Pink Floyd, though, is playing this summer up in LA. And I don't prefer his version of the band as much, but
really,
I'm kind of like, this might be my only chance to see anything Pink Floyd related. So we're on the fence about pulling the trigger on that. The tickets are about 150 a piece, so they're like pretty salty. But I'm like, this is probably it. Like if we don't go to this, I'm not going to have any chance to see any Pink Floyd related concert. And that'll be a bummer for me. So yeah, I think we're probably going to end up pulling the trigger on those tickets.
So she rated the bands. Joan Jett was good.
Mm-hmm.
Poison, dude. What happened to CC DeVille? She sent me a picture. I'm like, dude, that's not CC DeVille. He completely looks completely different. It was so bizarre.
Oh, weird.
I'm
like totally intrigued by this now.
Fuck, you got to look it up, because when she sent me the picture, I had to look it up online, because I'm like, that's not CC DeVille I remember. Like, he looks completely different.
Weird.
Like, I think it's a stunt double. But like
stunt
she
cock.
Said, stunt cock. But they had what do you want to say? They were the most engaging with the crowd. Like, they kind of really like worked the crowd super well, and were like they were just very much a much more personal experience, it sounded like. She said, sadly, Def Leppard might be showing their age now.
Yeah.
But that Motley Crue, like, production wise, was awesome. So it's one of those. It was crazy.
So the Crue is the headliner on those shows?
The Crue was the headliner on that one. Yeah.
Interesting. I guess that makes sense. I guess they're bigger than Def Leppard.
I don't know.
I feel like that's debatable, maybe.
I think so too. I mean, honestly, because I think Def Leppard's been more consistent longer, even if it's not everything I dig. They've been like consistent longer, where Motley Crue, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't. That's a tough one. I see it going either way, but yeah, I don't think that's a clear cut case in my opinion.
So this is perfect. This is time for an interlude. It's a game. Justin set up a game on our comments on the Potty Mints. That's what you have to change it so it doesn't say comments anymore. It's has to say Potty Mints. Anyway, in the Potty Mints, how many killer bands do great bands have in them before they go downhill?
How many killer bands?
No, killer albums. Sorry, my bad.
How many killer albums do a band have in them?
Like a great band have in them before it just falls apart. And then, and what was it after the? Oh, it could go into yeah.
Wow, that's really hard, because it's hard for me to be. I don't even know. I think there's just so many variables involved with a question like that. Because, like, I mean, are you allowed to talk about your favorite bands? Because my bands that are my favorite bands, I would say have 10 records. None of them are bad, but someone who doesn't love that band that much might be like, they have 2 good records. So that's tough.
I think you have to take a step back there, sister. Who has 10 good albums?
I mean,
name 5.
5 bands that, well, yeah. I mean, 10 might be an exaggeration.
I was just fucking with you.
No, I know.
But whose catalog do you think is solid from A to wherever they are now? G.
I mean, like I said, not many people would agree with this, I would say that not every record is completely great, but I would say that pretty much, in my opinion, the whole catalog, there's not like a bad one. Butthole Surfers for me. But I'm like an Uber fan, and I'm very familiar with like every like full length album and like all the songs on them. And
I fell out during the mid 90s. Like,
yeah,
that was it.
And like I said, that's just, I'm biased because I just really like them. But I would say a band.
So to his point, that for me would have been 5, because after their 5th album, is it PO'd?
Yeah, PO'd is like from 91, I think 90 or 91. That's the record right before they went major label. That's the record before Independent Worm Saloon.
Yeah, and I didn't dig Independent Worm Saloon. Like, so to me, I think my cut point probably is about 5 for them.
Yeah, PO'd was like Lonesome Bulldog, and
Highway to Steven was the jam.
Yeah, that's before PO'd. That's the one before PO'd. I would say another band too that I think has been consistent, although every record has been a little different than the last, is Ween. I think Ween has like 8 full-length albums. I think the very last one they did was like 2007, before they like went into their We Gotta Get Sober hiatus. That was La Cucaracha. That record has a couple cool songs on it, but I would say that was like, you could tell that's when they were sort of like, maybe they shouldn't have made that record. Like, if they wouldn't have made that and came back now to make a new one, it would have been better. But that's a pretty consistent run. That's like, for me, that's like 7 or 8 full lengths that are all fucking magical.
Right.
And then I could actually even take this game a step further too, where I could say that there's bands that I used to think stopped at like 3 or 4 records, but as I got older and my taste in music changed considerably, I would say that I could go back and add records onto their career of what I like now, that I think their career actually did keep going.
Justin, send us an example of who you're thinking.
Yeah.
Because I'm like trying to think of, because I don't.
Well, no, here I got, you know what
you do.
I have a really good one. This just came to me. Is Black Sabbath.
Yeah, and to me, anything after Ozzy, it's not for me.
Well, see, I'm of the belief that they like up to like, so from the self-titled up to like Sabotage was like sort of the prime. That's like the prime era, and then those and there's good songs on those later Ozzy ones, like the Technical Ecstasy and like some of those other weird ones at the end, like Never Say Die, I think was the final one with him, with the cover with the gas, or like the dude with the flight mask on or whatever. All those records have decent songs, but they lost their way in my opinion. But then I love Black Sabbath with Dio though too. So I think when Dio got in, is like they kind of like regained momentum with him. But yeah, Black Sabbath is a good one, I think, I think they had like four or five like really good ones, and then they fucking lost their way. That's kind of the biggest one I can think that comes to mind.
The Melvins are hit and miss.
The Melvins, that's a really good one. Yeah,
They are fucking like early.
That may be the best one.
Like, but the newer stuff, like there's gems in them. Like there's cool shit, but it's, oh my God, they're I love them, but they're frustrating sometimes because it's just, you never know what you're going to get.
Well, and here another one. We keep pounding this one into the ground, but this one's very true in my opinion. Now that I've like become super fan and then like went back for like more legitimate listens over time, Iron Maiden is a huge offender of this game because they were firing on all cylinders. I would say I'd even give them credit. They were crushing it until Somewhere in Time, which I think was like 85. So that's like let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like a 7 or 8 album. I'm not sure. I'm missing one or adding one, but that's like a 7 or 8 album run of like no bad material. And then after Somewhere in Time is when they started to kind of like lose their way. And like those last like 3 or 4 Dickinson records leading up to when the third guy started singing, those records are pretty bad. They have like 1 or 2 decent songs on them, but that's when I think like Somewhere in Time is awesome. And then after that is when they started to lose their way. That's still a pretty good run though.
Yeah. Oh, hell.
I'm trying to think of a band that came out of the gates and their first album just crushed it, and then their second one fucking blew dick. I'm trying to think of like a band that lost it on their second album.
Well, so I'm going to throw this one out, and I don't want fucking bitches and moaning about it because I'm just using this as a fucking example. Like fucking Wrathchild, that first album was fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then the second one is fucking really good. But those songs from the first one, they've been playing them so long and were so honed in. Like it was fucking awesome. Where it was like they had to go to the studio and actually produce something. And I guess it just wasn't, it didn't have the same, it wasn't the same energy, was it? No,
I 100% agree with you on this. I don't love that second record at all. Like I don't think it's bad, but man, I like no shit, dude, to me. And it's not even okay. I do have some nostalgic personal moments associated with that first Wrathchild record. So it does maybe hit a little differently than it would for someone who doesn't have those experiences. But even like local band aside, that first record it's magical in my opinion. I think that record awesome, is fucking killer, dude. That is like, I don't think there's ever there. I'm trying to think of another record that captures heavy metal, rock and roll, and punk rock into like a mixture that's, I can't think of anything that does it better than that album. I really can't. Right. It's just like everything about it is, the production's really good. The songs are really good. It's catchy. His voice was just kind of like the perfect voice for what they were doing musically. Mm-hmm. Like it was heavy, but you could understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. All right. Well, I know what I'm going to listen to later today.
Because I got a couple in my playlist, but like I'm stoked every time Climbing the Walls comes in. I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah, man. There's really not a bad song on that record, in my opinion. Like fucking London After Midnight is a banger.
I have to say this for Phil. No bacon and cheese, no bacon and cheese.
And Hell's Gates? That song is a fucking rager.
Do you remember?
Waits.
Oh my God.
Hell's Gates.
Do you remember? I don't remember who we got the tape from, the video, but we had Larkin's, like it had the Climbing the Walls video on it, but it was a copy of their master because it still had the fucking time codes in it. Like, and so it was like we got it from them, or I don't, it wasn't, maybe it was Gene's. I don't remember who we got that tape from.
I don't know if this isn't the same tape you're talking about, I don't think, but I'd have to look. I don't know if I still have this or not. I think I do though. But there was that tape. Well, I'm sure there was multiple copies of this, but there was that tape that was going around Gabe's and stuff where it was somebody, I think, in there. It might even have been Larkin who was making these, him and someone else, but they were those videos where they would take like TV shows and like dub over them with like voices and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think I actually have one of those VHS tapes.
Oh, that's badass.
So
Like that videotape I'm talking about had like it was a Bugs Bunny cartoon on it that they overdubbed some KP into it. And so it was funny as shit.
yeah. I think that I have a
I think
copy
that
of
was
one of those.
Madman that did a lot of that shit.
Yeah, I think maybe so. I think you're right. That makes sense. Yeah, I'll have to see
Dave,
if I
I don't
have
remember
that.
your last name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm not sure if I ever knew his last name.
Though I have to tell you that he did hook us up with one of the best fucking bands I'd never heard of again, was the Burnt Weenie Sandwich, which I had later found out is a Zappa song, but it was this band from Ohio. Do you look and see if you can find that shit? Because I can't find it anywhere. In my CD I made of the cassette is like, it won't read on my computer anymore. So it's kind of sad.
I'm gonna have to look through my archives. I feel like I might have a copy of that somehow. Or I don't know. I'll have to look. But yeah, I remember that band. I remember hearing them through you.
Yeah, that was fucking kick-ass.
I don't remember what they sounded like or anything like that. But yeah, that, you know what? That's another, I like that game. I'm gonna have to think about that some more. There's definitely, I mean, there's tons of bands that like died off quick. There's got to be.
I mean, with like hardcore and shit, it's rare to get bands that get like 5 albums deep. Like it's all big bands. Like I mean, Sick of It All. Who else has that many albums? Sick of It All, Agnostic Front. Hatebreed.
Madball has a shit ton of albums.
Madball. Like I'm hard pressed to come up with that many bands that have like even a big enough catalog to go that deep.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where there's like two routes, right? It's like you start out as a certain type of band and you establish your fan base based on the type of music you're playing, and then you have a choice. You can stay to the tried and true route and never really progress as musicians and know you're going to keep your core audience, or you can take the risk to progress as a musician and try different things, but you may alienate your core audience.
So does this fall back to our Reagan Youth and SSD?
Yeah. And
actually, who did it well? The Cockney Rejects did it well. When they went all metally over like just the crusty oi sound.
Yeah.
Like I actually fucking enjoy that. Like they're fucking rippers when they actually produce them a little bit and add distortion to the guitars.
I would say like, yeah, because we did kind of talk about this before. This was, like you said, this is definitely falls right in line with that last conversation. But Dr. No is maybe a band that like I didn't think about last time we talked that went the metal route that actually pulled it off.
Look, I'm trying. I can't, once again, that's one I can't find online. I guess it's if I looked on YouTube. Like I have this CD and it's somewhere. And at one time I ripped all my CDs to a hard drive and then my computer got hit by lightning and fucked that all up. And I've never went back and redid that process. But like I remember fucking Wreckage in Flesh being a badass song. Like that song was so fucking awesome.
And it was so different than their early shit too.
Oh my God, yeah. And they redid Reprogram, which was good. I mean, but the original Reprogram was so fucking awesome. But like, it was a wash whether it was better or not.
Yeah. Well, this isn't really maybe necessarily the same circumstances because they got a completely different singer, but I like, so this actually would have, I'm not a super fan of their early shit, so I'm not 100% sure of their back catalog, but I think they only had 2 records before they had their singer switch, but it's TSOL. I like the second version of TSOL way better than the first version because they I would say their change in sound was pretty dramatic from like the last record they did with the first singer to when they did Change Today with the new guy. And like Change Today and Revenge, I think are like 2 of the greatest records ever.
I fucking love TSOL. And like I am on the fence now on whether or not I want to go see them when they hit Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Because I think they're coming in November with Black Flag, which we'd already spoke about as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I like them in all facets. Like I've never not liked what they've done. And it's bizarre because they sound like 2 totally different bands.
Yeah.
Like I like the weird alternative tentacle, like their very first thing. Like I dug that. And then like Dance With Me's fucking kick ass. But like I fucking love Revenge. Like that was my first record I got of theirs, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. I just listened to that yesterday, actually. That's what kind of made me think of bringing them up right now. But I don't think we talked about DRI last time either, or did we? Like that's a band that they sort of changed their sound. They went from like full blown like hardcore punk to like crossover style. But
yeah, well,
that was a natural progression for them more than probably anybody I can think of, though.
Yeah, I completely agree. I remember getting the cassette, and that one Dustin might have bought, and I finally got to listen to it, and I was so just let down. But then after, like, I actually like it. Don't get me wrong, I love fucking crossover, and I like Four of a Kind. But to jump from dealing with it to that was such a transition. I was like, it wasn't a transition I was ready to make.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm looking at my records right now.
Oh, it's cheating.
Shit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this. But
I think we completely went off the game that Justin set up anyway. It was just how many albums are in a band before they go shitty.
I think the average band has, I think based on my experiences with bands overall, I think most bands have like 2 good records before they, I think that's probably the limit is 2 and maybe 3, but I think even 3 is pushing it.
So here's an even better twist on this game. How long are they together before the shit starts falling apart? Meaning, like where we're saying there's a count of albums, but how many years does that take? Like Doggy Style, I fucking loved. And it was like, I guess, but they tried to reincarnate back in the late 90s, actually late 80s. And it was, to me, wasn't even the same fucking band. It wasn't the same ballpark. Like it was one of those where it's the Misfits, but both versions of the Misfits were good. And to me, not both versions of Doggy Style was good. Like it was like that first fucking clip and the rest of it blew. But how many years does that go? How many years are you in that band before you're like, we either need to change up style or, they get bored and they go through the motions and write the same shitty songs after shitty song. or it's the same 4 chords just played over and over and over and over, and it just loses its energy.
Yeah. Shit. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, because I only know 4 chords, so but I like them.
I'm gonna say that I think the average band who is a band who's not gonna like quote unquote make it probably has like a 3 to 5 year shelf life before things like break down and fall apart.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you make it to that 5-year point and you haven't like really broken out into like quote unquote the next level, that's when I think people are just burnt out and like don't want to pursue it anymore. Yeah. I'm thinking more of from like an 80s standpoint. I should probably clarify. Like I don't know like what that would be like now. Like I don't know how people like Gavin think about like being in a band. So I only have my perspective on sort of like what I know from 80s and 90s kind of music.
Right.
I think 3 to 5 is sort of like if you haven't made it by 5 years, you're kind of done.
I you know what? I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy it because it kind of falls in line with pretty much everything we do.
Yeah.
So it would be, look how you keep going with this thought process. I was like, name one band that got better 10 years later, where you're like, this fucking album is so fucking awesome. I don't know what the fuck they were doing back then.
Oh shit. Yeah. See that to me, that's an intriguing one. And I really want to think about that one.
All right, let's think about that one. Write in on the comments, peoples, and give us your, this band is far fucking better now than they ever were way back in the day.
Oh, you know what? I really like this game a lot. This one's a good one because I can't think of anything specific right now, but I already know I'm going to have a pretty big handful of fucking bands to suggest.
All right, so you got
that's going to ruffle feathers probably.
That is awesome. This is the whole point of this fucking game.
Yeah. You're definitely going to be like, you're already going to say, what are you smoking when I say like 5 of these bands?
Awesome. So we'll save that for next week.
All right, cool.
Should we jump into topic?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready.
All right. So I get this week's question again because I'm fucking brilliant. Boo, boo, boo.
Well, and we decided that my idea for this week is too involved, and it has to be wait till we have a guest. So
and multiple guests because it just needs to play out that way.
Yep.
The question is, I'm waiting for my drum roll.
Nope.
Why are we attracted to the stupid versus the serious side of jams? Like our catalog from our Bandcamp standpoint is 75, maybe 80% stupid. Mm-hmm. And then there are bands that actually were far more serious, and you were part of some of them.
Yeah.
So what drives you to be stupid?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That's funny. I like how you framed that. I wasn't expecting that. You threw me off there.
I can start it because I was at a point like when I was younger, like I couldn't understand not trying to push a message, like preachy. Like that to me was what I needed to do. But then I something clicked. I don't know what it was, or maybe it didn't click. Maybe it was, but I'm like, what the fuck am I? Why do I need to tell you what to do? Or why do you give a shit about my thoughts? And then it kind of went the other way. It was like, if you want inside my head, I'm going to give you stupid, because stupid is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did, like, I love silly bands. Like they, for some reason always spoke to me. I mean, equally because I like serious bands as well, but it was like, the fun bands. Like to me, it was more about those guys look like they fucking have fun, and they can have fun at any show because they don't have to be serious every fucking day. Like when I go out and play, I don't have to be a tough guy. I can be dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that, you know, it's a good question. And I can honestly say, I don't know if I've ever really thought about this to the point of being able to answer this in any kind of like knowledgeable way about this. But, I think, and there's so many depths that this could go to too, from like where, like what psyche things from your childhood like kind of led you down this route. But I don't know. I kind of, if I had to guess, I would just say that a lot of it stems back to things we've talked about on previous episodes, where my exposure to music, I think even if the band was quote unquote serious and had serious content, it was always presented to me in a way, I guess music was always presented to me in a way that it was like a fun activity. So regardless of the content of the music, I was always listening to it in a way of it was in like a hangout scenario where like I was being allowed to like hang out with like older people, like my aunt and her friends when they were listening to music. So to me, like music was always associated with like getting to do like fun stuff. And then when I like resonating with punk music and heavy metal music, when I started to go that route, I think a lot of the bands I was listening to, their imagery aligned with things I was interested in, like toys and comics and drawing and stuff. So there, and you know, like when I was a little kid, I was like, I really like Mad Magazine and like Cracked and like that kind of stuff. So I think, and then just like I said, like, I mean, you know, my family, they're like kind of not normal and like
nice.
And they're, I don't know, I'd say that, you know, like going up to the store and hanging out, you like, you know, that like people are going to bust balls and like people are going to laugh about shit. Like I need, like neither side of my family is like overly serious about anything. Like I think, you know, they have certain morals and belief structures and stuff, but I think that I wasn't really raised in a overly serious family on either side. So I think just maybe it's just an instinctual thing that I've just always been drawn to more of the non-serious comedy side of just everything in life, not even like music, like comedy, and just that taking, maybe at a young age, just realizing that taking things too seriously is just not a good path, because it's, you just want to have fun. Like people who take things too seriously, it just always seem bummed and like that they're overthinking shit too much. And I mean, I guess really to really answer the heart of the question though, is for me, it was just, I think one of the main bands that I think influenced my trajectory would have to be the Meatmen, I would say.
I agree 100%.
I think that just, I love the cartoons of their, like the drawings of them on the covers and just all the funny, like Mad Magazine style drawings on the insides, like the liner notes and stuff. And just the song topics. It's like, they were just funny to me. Like they struck really
the right chord. I mean, they all did. It was like Tolling for Anus, and it played into like the phobias that were, to me, at least me, kind of bred into me.
Yeah.
But then it kind of made light of it. It was like, meh, who gives a fuck? It you know, it was like, it kind of that, because I was thinking it was more, it might be, to me, it became more of an escape, because I tried to think like, because you went deeper than I was thinking, like with it, and like seeing music as a kid, I like, it's bizarre. Like I don't register it until I think about Sis. And like, it was just, to her, it was what she did. Like it was And I guess to me, it was just her escaping into her world.
Yeah.
Like this is my domain. I'm going to listen to music and you come listen to music with me, but it's my domain. And I think maybe that to me is where the humor, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck, dude, I am not that serious of a person. Like I try not to present that even now as, I guess, as a professional. Don't say it out loud. But in my like work life, like I want to be on a different level. I don't want it to be so rigid. Like I want things to be, I want it to flow. I want to know you as the person, not as this client that I obey. Like I want interaction. So I want this to be something, where this is me. You got me. You don't have a version of Curtis. You get the Curtis. And it's so, and I think that kind of like, I hit that point in my life where it was like, you know what? It's like, I don't know if I can be that serious. I don't know if I can be that person all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just, obviously there's times in life that call for, being a little bit more serious and putting on your professional shoes and all that stuff. But I just think for me, and I guess I just always, once I knew I wanted to play music, I only wanted to play music that made people laugh. I think is really just like the bottom line of it. And I think when I really, like in high school, when I really started to get into definitely knowing that I wanted to be in a band, and was like, and when Dave and I started to kind of jam more and stuff, and that was when like grunge music was like really starting to hit. And that was also sort of like the second wave of like Grateful Dead shit. And like everybody was all about grunge, and like it just, I don't know, like all those bands had like really serious messages. And I don't know, it's like I feel like everyone in our high school was just like overly serious about everything and music. And I think that was like a catalyst for me. I was already in the I want to have fun and sing about fucked up shit camp anyway. And then that just pushed it even more to now we want to take this even further with how dumb we can get, because everyone just is trying to be these like super serious people. And we were just very, striving, like typical punk rock mindset, I guess, of striving to be the opposite of what everyone around us was doing.
So that's even funnier because, that pushes, it's like a sect of a sect. Like all of a sudden it's like punk rock, but no, we're stupid. It's like, but I think maybe that is why I have such a hard time with the version, because it was driven by a different machine.
Yeah.
And it's like, apparently I have that in me and I'm bossy about shit, but it's like
that band for you is more of a like a mark in history of a person that you like aren't like maybe necessarily embarrassed that you were that person, but like that maybe wasn't like your true self.
Yeah. That might be dead on. It was me at that time, but that wasn't actually me. That was me building an image that
it was like that. Me. It was like in a way, like almost like maybe like that band for you, when you look at it, it's like you were like, maybe like that was your poser band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which actually, makes me sad to say that, but it's like no,
but don't worry, we're still working on the remaster. I'm getting closer.
Oh yeah. So that honestly, like when you sent me that, I was like, damn, like you nailed it now. Like now it is time to like do those again.
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I once again, thank you, Rip-X, that I had to cheat around it. Like there's definitely, it's a process. But
yeah, I don't know. I just think that my early influence, like I said, like music was just about having fun to me. And any person I was around or any songs I ever heard that, and like honestly, I'm thinking about this right now. I feel like any maybe serious song I heard as a little kid just bounced right off of me. It's like almost like I didn't even absorb it. Like,
Right.
like if it didn't have some type of like catchy party hook or something, like I wasn't even interested in it. Like, cause I can remember like the first time I heard AC/DC, and it was, I think one of the first AC/DC songs I ever heard was Dirty Deeds. And I mean, that was, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like the guitars in that song and just the lyrics. And I mean, I guess maybe those lyrics are a little more serious, I guess, but I don't know. It's just like, it was primal and had like a party vibe to me, even as a little kid. Like, I know this is like a party song, and it's fun and it makes you like want to jump up and down and like bang your head and stuff. And it's, I don't know. I guess for me, it's all about the energy has to be a certain way, and like a fun vibing energy. And if it's like some solemn, depressing, serious shit, I just wasn't in. Like, you weren't going to sell it to me.
I'll buy that.
But then I loved bands like Pink Floyd as a little kid, so that kind of shoots that in the water, because I was like, they're pretty serious. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I like all their like weird, but to me, I like the weirder shit. Like, I love Atom Heart Mother. Like, fucking love that album.
Yeah, and
it's just, it's, to me, it's playful in a weird way. Like, it's just all over the place. And I guess I took the serious edge off of it for me.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah,
like The Wall is very theatric and is a relocation of your mind to a different time and space. You fall into that story with The Wall, or at least I do.
Yeah.
Like, and of course, my favorite song on The Wall is the stupid one at the trial at the end, because it's very theatric and all the characters are in it. Like, so they can be fun in that way, I guess, is what my rebuttal is to you. Like, gotcha. So, but I completely, they are serious. Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe to your original point though, if to like stay on the more, like, we went more of the like goofball perv route with our songs and bands. Like, where does that come from? I think it's, and another thing too, I think when, like, over the years being in bands where we were writing those types of songs, like, I don't think for me I don't know if I ever really had conscious thoughts of wanting to like offend with the songs we were writing. Not that I can recall. To me, it was just always like, that's what just felt natural to create musically. It wasn't like, oh my God, if we make this song about this, like, it's going to like piss people off. Like, I don't feel like we ever thought like that. It was just like, this is what feels natural for us to do. It's like, we just love Murphy's Law and the Meat Man and shit like that. And
yeah, exactly.
We just want to do, and Dayglow. And like, we align with what those bands do. And that's what feels most natural for us to write. Is those are like the three of the probably top 10 pinnacle bands we could mention that are like absolutely. Probably like main influences like that. And and for me, like Dead Milkman, it's just like, everything is just about, like, your famous saying, it's like, it's all about stupid. Like, just
that needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah, just fun and stupid. Like, there's not that there's anything wrong with it, because I listen to a lot of serious bands and serious music, and I like that stuff, but I just feel like there's plenty of that in the world, and it was just our job to go in the opposite direction.
I think, and that's, I think for me, like when, I guess with like the 7-10 split and perestroika thing is when that stopped being fun. It wasn't like that wasn't for me anymore. Like I
Yeah.
definitely understood that. And I don't know if I ever want to be like, maybe a version tainted me that bad that I didn't want to do like anything that was semi-political or just had any sort of message, but
Yeah.
go have fun, be yourself.
There's
And
just there's
don't
enough
give a
of
fuck.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's enough bands already doing that. And there's people that, we were fortunate enough to find a friend base / fan base or whatever that also like felt the same way. Like shit's way too serious, and there's plenty of bands doing the serious thing, and that's cool. But it's just, yeah, like everything. It's just like everything in life is just always so serious. I guess for me, the type of music I always wanted to play is like I wanted to create a fun, funny place for people to laugh and like have an escape. Like I wanted any show I ever played to be an escape for people from the seriousness of life.
Yeah,
See,
I think you guys like Bomb Threat definitely captured that. We tried to capture that in fucking Lawn Dart. Craven Moorheads, that was the fucking, that was it. Like it
yeah,
was an escape with Evil Hand Job and your Elvis fucking outfit.
yeah.
And me and my Super Saver attire looking hot.
And and yeah, definitely. Yeah, your cape.
Fuck yes.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to get too like fucking like diving into the psyche on this, but there's probably, if I really took a look at this and thought more about it, there's probably elements of from my childhood where maybe I was getting attention more. Maybe I from like knowing that when you make someone laugh, the way they react is a more pleasant, fun reaction. Like
That sounds good.
like
I
when
actually
when you're like maybe seeking validation from adults when you're a little kid and you get praised by like making older people in your life laugh, that maybe that kind of sticks with you. Because I was a pretty quiet kid, but I also could like, I don't know, I guess I like was always, because I was around a lot of older people as a kid, so I think maybe having to work my personality a little bit more to stand out was something that came into play at times. And maybe that's something that just rolled over into getting older and why I like certain bands. It's like, oh, this is a band that makes me laugh, probably makes other people laugh. If I copy this framework for what I want to do, this is like the right direction. Just like make people laugh.
So now that we've said all that, today, does Tesco get away with the same shit? Like there's stuff that the Meatmen did that there's no fucking way. Well, they could do it, but it's like, what did NoFX posted a thing? It was like, can you be canceled twice?
Yeah, right.
And they did some skit in fucking Thailand when they were touring it, and it was, and it was just making fun of stereotypes. And
Yeah.
they kind of cover the gambit, so it doesn't fucking, they've got the bases covered. So the jokes they make are, there's somebody in a band that they're going to offend with their joke.
Yeah.
Or it's against themselves. It's like, like I think we're pretty safe for most of the shit we've done.
Yeah. I think about this actually from time to time, and I think a lot of it comes with just getting older and like seeing different opinions and different viewpoints that in a different way that maybe you wouldn't have seen something when you were younger. So I struggle with this actually. I think about this a good bit, where I would say that I'm fundamentally pretty much the same person I've always been, but my ideals have like changed in some ways. But I guess there's lyrics that I wrote 20 years ago that I probably wouldn't write now, just because I think I'm in such a different headspace. I don't even know if I could write those lyrics now. Not that I wouldn't, but I just don't even know if I could.
Right.
But that being said, I don't know. Like I struggle with this because I think that, like with comedians, I think comedians should be able to say whatever they want to say.
That's their fucking job.
Yeah, it's kind of their job to like make you feel uncomfortable and make you think about things in a different way, but like with some humor involved. And I think that, to me, it's all about intent, right? So it's like, if your intent is to say something extremely rude and fucked up, but you actually like mean it, then that's probably not cool. But if you're saying something and it's pretty much widely known that you're saying it in a tongue-in-cheek manner and it's a joke, and you're not directly really trying to offend any specific person, place, or thing or something, then I don't know. Like, I guess I do. I just like struggle with it. Like what's off limits and what's not. And I think for me, it comes back to intent most of the time.
Right.
And like if someone comes to see your band, they probably already know what you're about anyway. So they know what they're getting. I think like maybe I guess my point would be, if someone came to see the Craven Moorheads and they never saw us before, well, first of all, I don't think we have any lyrics that can't be sang nowadays that I can think of. And I think the way that we would present our music, if anybody would come to see us play and try to like give us shit afterwards, like, hey, you shouldn't sing about stuff like that, I think they're lost no matter what. Because if you see the way we perform and that it's just all just a fucking fun joke, and you still get butthurt serious about watching us play, I think you need to maybe evaluate yourself personally a little bit more. Because
I think, honestly, this was probably what pushed me in that direction, or into this direction versus Super Serious, is like I took myself way too seriously and couldn't see the fucking forest from the trees, and just I need to get out of the forest.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it is. And I think, hey, our name kind of fucking covers it with fucking Craven Moorheads. I don't know. There's a couple, and you know what? I'm not fucking, is it woke enough to fucking know? Like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do I care? I mean, I care, but I mean, once again, we did. How long are you? If something is offensive, how long are you responsible for that? In the way that, like, I know I've changed my mind on that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or no, you're not getting it. It is a fucking joke. But at what point you're like, yeah, that joke might not be cool anymore? Like, can you distance yourself from it, or like, are you fucking just tagged with it for life?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I think there's, and I don't think there's a lot, but I definitely think there's maybe like a couple bomb threat lyrics that could maybe potentially be borderline nowadays.
And to that point, how long are you fucking responsible for that? And like, you're responsible for it, but at some point, it's like, dude, you're entertaining. It was a show. You know, we're putting on a show. It is not that serious. But I mean, when can you? Well, you know, it's like
times change too. It's like what was acceptable in 1995 you know, might not be acceptable now. So like, should we be held accountable? Should not just us, I mean, anybody in general, like Tesco V or like anybody, should anybody be held accountable for something that they wrote 30 years ago? Like, I don't think so. Like,
what was it? Like fucking James Gunn getting fired from fucking Disney for a tweet he did with Trauma. Like, dude, he's working for fucking Trauma. You hired somebody that worked for Trauma.
Yeah.
You have to know what kind of fucking environment that was to hire him on, then all of a sudden get pushed into a position where you have to get rid of him. But now you're kissing his ass to come back. Like, it's, you know, it's like, how long?
Yeah.
Like, and you're right. It was a different time. It's a different fucking time. And look where we grew up. We are not most progressive fucking area in the world.
Well, I mean, and honestly, I would say if anything, maybe our music isn't representative of this in a lot of ways, but I would say based on where we grew up, our group of friends is probably some of the most progressive people that you could hope to like get out of our area.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally fucking agree.
I mean, we were definitely like on the forefront of like progressive thinking in a lot of ways, and I'd credit that definitely to like coming up in like punk rock hardcore sort of background of like
I totally fucking I couldn't agree more. Like, it definitely.
Yeah. And so I don't know, maybe there's like a little subconscious part of that's why it always felt natural and I never felt guilty about making the type of music that we did, is because I knew who we were as core individuals. So like I knew we were good people, and I knew that our intent was for laughter and fun. It was never ever about attacking anyone personally, or I think that if anything, Bomb Threat was very like satirical, I would say. If anything, like anything we were like making fun of, it was not really about necessarily a person or a group. It was about, you know, like sort of like our anti-hippie stance or whatever, was like definitely more rooted in making fun of the absurdity of not thinking for yourself and following like the herd mentality when like all that Grateful Dead shit was like popping off and everybody was like leeching onto that, and like all of a sudden everybody's a fucking deadhead, and like people who were listening to punk rock a year or two before are now fucking acid dropping hippies hanging out going to Grateful Dead shows. I think that we might have had like specific hippie friends that we liked and stuff, but like as a whole, it was about making fun of the culture of just not thinking for yourself more than it was like attacking anybody. And I think that was, so like maybe we were sort of like secretly we were sort of serious, and I just never really thought about it in that way because it was just making fun of stuff that we thought was just hilarious and absurd.
And I think maybe my thought is that if I did, like, I think there might be one or two that were like direct shots at people. It was at people that hadn't progressed. It was like, you fucking moron, wake up and smell the Java.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I think that, and I think there are definitely times when bands have songs that they wrote 30 years ago that I'm not trying to judge or anything, but yeah, like maybe there's certain songs that they should rethink about playing in certain situations. But I don't know. Like I said, I go back and forth with this. I think it's a tough thing. I think my biggest thing is like getting, I think every band we've ever been in has always, I think, been pretty responsible about taking things to the line, but not necessarily crossing it. Like I can't think of anything any of our bands have ever written that someone would listen to and genuinely get really genuinely upset and hurt about. Like I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything.
Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
I'm sure we'll get a call out. But
yeah. Like my intent with any band I've ever been in has never been to hurt anybody's feelings and has never been to make anybody feel shitty. It's just about laughing, having fun, and like I said, the satirical side of it, maybe making someone think in a different way about something we maybe think is lame and sort of calling them out in like a comedy way.
Yeah.
But never to like knock someone down. Is more about maybe trying to get someone to think about something in a different way through comedy. So yeah, that's all I can really think about that right now, I guess. But
we went heavy.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, I think all the bands we've ever been in, there might be some questionable shit here and there that might be a little cancel culture-ish now, but overall, I think maybe that's a credit to, and I don't want to blow too much smoke up our own ass, but I think maybe based on the type of music we were playing back then, and we still continue to play, I think we did pretty good at being intelligent enough about how we wrote things that they have been able to like stay uncancel culture-ish.
Yeah, I'm laughing because Flexall is on our Doesn't Matter EP, and I was like, yeah, that might have been a direct shot at Clevenger and Gene.
Right, totally.
Fucking lubing up before a show.
Yeah,
that was the fucking best.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
This is, now you really have me thinking about this. I'm really trying to think of a song that, and like the first song that comes to mind that I could think that maybe could align with you couldn't play it now to a certain extent is Fat Girl. But
seeing I'm fucking fat.
But that song it's like when you listen to those lyrics though, it was never about really like a specific fat girl or like making fun of like fat people. It's like if those lyrics are just like about an absurd situation,
right?
Of, just like pops the wheels off and eats them for a snack. It's like it's complete fantasy, it's like it's and just, yeah, I mean, that's really the only song I can really think of. But even that song, it's like, honestly, if that song would make you mad to the point where you actually would come up to me after a show and be like, hey, I really didn't appreciate that song. Like if someone tried to give me that speech, like in my mind, I'm just thinking like, if that's a song that gets you upset, you need to like reevaluate like where your position is in life, because like that should not get you this upset. Like that song should not get you this upset.
Yeah, dude, I'm like looking. I think it's funny. I totally think we danced a line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we were really good at pushing right up to whatever the line was at the time, but I don't think we ever crossed it.
Wait. We have a Misfats album.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I still stand by that record. I don't care.
Dude, it's like, fucking awesome.
If anybody came at me with some fucking woke shit about that fucking record, I would just fucking laugh at them.
Oh my God.
And look, let me also be perfectly clear. I'm not discounting the fact that, there's been a lot of things that have like changed that I think have been for good reason. Like I'm not going to sit here and say that isn't a thing. Like I don't want to say there's been like tons of positive things that have come from woke cancel culture shit, but there's definitely some shit I think that's come from it that has been good. But I also think that sometimes maybe it gets a little too far into.
When does it stop?
Yeah, invading on scenarios that would be considered sort of like what we're doing, where you need to also be able to see the satire and comedy and humor in life's fucked up scenarios. And if you're not able to do that, then like always thinking seriously about things is not healthy. It's like if you're not able to like see the humor in the fucked up shit in life, then that's when you have like too many problems, I think.
We are the Mel Brooks of
I love
hardcore.
it. I love it. Fucking love it. I couldn't agree more. I think that, well, and you know, that's a good example of like, do hit a lot of his movies definitely are like, should probably be canceled according to what like cancel culture is, but but there's movies are still available to watch. So I think there's going to definitely be a time when all his movies will never be watched, because like people will be like, I can't believe my grandparents watched this shit. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, because to me, they've started to become timeless because they've become a statement of like, we can all get along, but we can still make fun of each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we can all, you can be, what do you want to say? Super woke, but still be able to poke fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
I little digs. Like, I think that's why like Mel Brooks, that shit, like it still works because it was intelligent. And it wasn't just him behind the fucking writing. There was a group of them and pulled in from different cultures and races that helped to build those fucking movies. It wasn't just him. So it was like, there was a thought process behind it. And it was like being super smart and being able to make fun of things about yourself and about others. And it's just a fucking joke.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of my strengths as a human being, I think, is like, I'm really good at seeing like both sides of anything. Like I feel like I can really always do that in most situations. And this is no different. And I think that like everything in life is just a balance and moderation with everything. It's like, if you're, you know, like you were saying, there's nothing wrong with like having some like cancel culture woke values, but like you also still need to be able to poke fun at shit and make fun of some stuff once in a while. Like you said, it's like if you're one way or the other too much, that's when like things like fall out of balance and shit gets like too crazy. And I think that's kind of where we're at now.
Right. I like it. I like how do I reference it? I'll tell somebody it's not an everybody gets a trophy type situation right now. So it's like, you know, things happen and it's positive and negative. It doesn't work out for everybody, and everybody doesn't need that trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I go back to what I've said like a couple different times now. It's like, for me, it's always about intent. Like if I go and see a band and they're like, they have some like fucked up lyrics, but their persona of how they're presenting the song is coming off as like aggressive and serious, like I might be like, that's kind of not cool. Yeah. But like if you're singing that exact same song and you're wearing costumes and joking and it's like funny and it's like you're basically the musical version of like a stand-up comic, then it's like I get where you're coming from. It's like, right, that might have been like a fucked up thing to say, but I understand if I talk to you off the stage, you're going to be like a normal, cool dude with like good values. You're just like happen to be singing about a fucked up topic. Right. So I think that's another thing too, is just like being like people seem like really overly judgy and quick to not evaluate where the person's coming from before they like jump to conclusions.
Wow, this has gone down a crazy, deep, heavy rabbit hole. No, because I was going to say, and I think part of that culture, or the culture we're speaking of, is that everything can be taken out of context.
Yeah, totally.
And like the smallest fucking thing can blow up. But if you saw the whole picture instead of just that pixel, it's a different fucking story. You know, and I think that goes to, I guess, what you're saying when you show up and you see the whole picture, the whole shebang, and you're in a costume and acting like a fucking clown. Maybe it's a joke. I don't know. Who knows? I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it's funny too, because I was just talking, who was I talking? I forget who I was talking about this with, but it's funny because most of my solo music, I would say, is definitely more on the like serious side. And it's funny, like the more that I've been kind of writing that type of music, I've noticed it's become a lot harder for me to try to write like funnier stuff lyric wise. It's like there's like an episode of South Park where Cartman like quote unquote blows his funny fuse, and he can't like laugh at anything like fucked up shit he used to laugh at, like people getting their balls busted and stuff. Like he couldn't laugh at that stuff anymore. And I definitely feel there's like a part of me that's happened to a tiny little bit. Like and don't get me wrong, I still can write some like fucked up weird shit, but I would say that if I am having a moment where I'm like, I want to maybe try to write a song today or like scribble some lyrics down or something, it definitely, I go more to serious mode now than funny mode, more than I ever have in my entire life. So that's sort of like been an interesting progression in my songwriting, is just like riff wise, I can still easily write riffs that would be like for us, but lyrical content is a little harder for me to like do comedy style stuff anymore. Like I kind of have to work at it a lot more. And I think that's just, I think it's still there, but just I've changed so much as a person over the years that the lyrics I could have written in my early 20s, like I couldn't even write those now. Like I'd have to force it, whereas before it used to come naturally.
It's just, I don't think that muscle's been stretched in a while.
Yeah, that's
really,
true.
I mean, because I think like when we did Sniff the Glue, like that was tough, but it came back quick. To me, though, the fun part was like adding the dumber shit in, like our shoot doobies.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That it was like that.
Exactly.
It's like, maybe that's part of that maturity of, getting older, and it's like we can do some dumb lyrics and we can do some other dumb shit that makes it dumb without adding. I don't know how to say that. Like shoot doobies don't belong in a fucking punk song.
Yeah, but dude, so you just brought up something that I've actually been wanting to tell you about that song, and I just brought it up just now. But one of the reasons I love that new song so much lyrically is I feel like I've always wanted to have, in a band I've been in, I've always wanted to have a version of like the Dead Milkmen song, the Bleach song. Like the song about drinking bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so bored, I'm drinking bleach. And I always loved that song. And I remember hearing that for the first time thinking like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Like it was just such the perfect song to like explain punk rock to somebody. It's like, hopefully like obviously no one would ever drink bleach. Like no one would be dumb enough to drink bleach. But if they were, and we
wouldn't have COVID anymore.
And they did it. They don't have COVID. But if they like did drink bleach and it was because of hearing that song, you then become the person that they are exactly writing that song about. So it's like, I love that you wrote the lyrics Sniffing Glue because they were so unexpected. And when you hit me back with that demo of that you'd sang on that riff and stuff, I was like, this is awesome. This is our Bleach song. And I thought it was so cool because I was like, dude, that's like amazing that we have a song blatantly about doing glue, but we're obviously not saying anyone should sniff glue.
No.
And if you do, because of this song, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So like, I'm glad
Oh my
we
God.
finally have a song like that. That made me happy. Which
I liked it. I like when Aaron showed up to practice and was like, shoop doobie, because he listened to it, cramming it, trying to learn it on the way down. Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
So again, intent, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like, if you see us play that song and you actually go and sniff glue, you have a fucking problem. We're not the problem. Like, you're not running your life on the correct programs. If you come and see us and you go and sniff glue because of that song, it's not our fault.
Oh my God. If you go home going shoot doobie, that's because of us.
Yeah. Yeah. We presented that song in a fashion that in no way, shape, or form should ever make you actually want to sniff glue. And if you do it, that's your own fucking problem.
Oh my God.
You're fucking blowing it at life if you listen to anything we say.
Oh, I need to get Fred's ass up here so we can drop some bass and then actually we're just gonna have to redo it.
Oh yeah, I just assumed that when we have some other new songs, we'll just re-record all that shit.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I like today's topic. I think the final synopsis would just be that, like, for us, making music is always about fun and making people laugh. And I think we've done a pretty good job of making music that can stand the test of like woke culture.
I think so.
Yeah.
If not, we're damn close.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think there's a couple songs that might be crossing that line. Like the toenail might be dipping over a little bit, but I don't think we have any. There's nothing I can think of right now that I'm so ashamed and embarrassed of that I wouldn't play.
I'm sorry, I just don't tell anybody the band's names, and now I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right, kids. And we're fucking wrapping it up because I got to piss. And we've probably been on a little rant.
Yeah.
But it was a good topic.
Yeah, it was cool.
Look, I pulled that one out of my ass. You like that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it like definitely made me think about all these things a little. I mean, like I said, I have thought about these things, but I don't think I've thought about them in this much detail. So yeah, it was cool. I feel better about it because there's definitely some times where I'm like, fuck, man, like, have I like made a bunch of songs that like people were bummed on? But I'm like, no, I don't think we have.
No. Now I want to go listen to fucking Flexall. Oh shit. All right, kids. Until next week. Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Post up shit on the pottymouthrecords.rocks. So we can, any ideas? What was it? Bands who did better after the fact than the early shit.
Yeah.
That's your quest this week. And there are fucking people listening to this. Fucking do it. Like, post it up so we don't have to make this shit up on our own. And then we have shit to laugh at. Because I'll laugh at everything because I'm going to disagree. I can guarantee it.
Oh, and one other thing too we wanted to add is that thanks to everyone for listening. Like, honestly, we're sort of blown away by, we look at the stats of like how many people are listening to the podcast, and it's exceeded our expectations by so much. And so we're super grateful that you guys are listening.
Get it, but I'm stoked.
Yeah, we're stoked.
And tell a friend.
Yeah.
They won't understand the first couple episodes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
These are kind of random now. And the topics are broader. Everybody loves fucking Ampegs. I am so I've been online. I have been online, but I can't pull the trigger.
Dude,
because the person I live with would fucking mutilate me.
Oh yeah, there's no way I can pull the trigger on anything like that right now. I mean, I could, but I definitely wouldn't feel right about it.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, dude,
I'm horrible.
It's like, I can't buy gear when I already have the same gear, but it's so rare And it's like the prices keep going up. I'm like, dude, if you don't grab this shit now, like 5 years from now, that's just gonna be like $1,200.
That is so what is in my head. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, I get it for X right now, and I know I can get it for X. So why wouldn't I just buy it now and not wait? But I don't know. Actually, we got a really good sound out of that line 6, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that amp's killer for what it is. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's fucking cool for here for recording.
All right, well, go pee.
Anyway. So anyway, adios, motherfuckers.
Yep. See you next time. Thanks for listening.
Yeehaw! Sorry, I gotta get the last word in. That's me. I'm a douche. But you get the last word anyway.
This podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and find us on the web at pottymouthrecords.rocks. That's .rocks.